Welcome to my channel where we discuss all things politics, especially about the 2023 presidential election. And as I keep saying, the presidential election is the most important of all the elections because the president of Nigeria wields enormous power which can be used for good. And that is why the country have to be careful who it chooses to be the president of Nigeria. Now, the United States Court has released certified true copy of judgment for the forfeiture of $460,000 belonging to Bola Ahmed Tinubu for narcotics, trafficking, and money laundering. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, the ruling party in Nigeria. Now, this matter just resurfaced recently, and many Nigerians are treating it as if it's a new case. It is not. In fact, earlier this year, investigative journalist David Hundiyin did a detailed investigative report, which I will put as a link under this video so that you go and read that investigative report by David Hundiyin, a Nigerian journalist who is now living abroad fearing for his own life because of the way things are in Nigeria. So he had done a detailed report on this. So it's not entirely new. Now, what this means is this, and David Hundiyin also pointed out in his report. Perhaps what you are seeing now was that a new set of people, Nigerians, went to the US court in Chicago to make a fresh request for these documents, because these documents are not new. As I told you, David Hundiyin had already shared these documents few months back, earlier this year, in a report he titled Bola Ahmed Tinubu from Drug Lord to Presidential Candidate. Now, we are going to look at some of the facts about this case, and the conclusion that was reached, and then the intervention by the presidential spokesperson of the APC, Presidential Campaign Council, Festus Keyamo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Now, before I go further, if you are new to my channel and you have not yet subscribed to my channel, subscribe to my channel, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. Now, it is no longer news that on October 4, 1993, Bola Ahmed Tinubu forfeited $460,000 to the United States government for his involvement in narcotic trafficking and financial transactions in violations of the United States law. This 59-page attested court judgment confirms this. In the course of an investigation, representatives from Mobile Oil were interviewed regarding Tinubu's employment status, because at that time, Tinubu was working with Mobile. The representatives confirmed that Tinubu was indeed employed by Mobil Oil Nigeria Limited as a treasurer. This position, however, does not involve the transfer of large amounts of money between banking institutions. Mobil Oil representatives stated that under no circumstances would Tinubu be permitted to retain money belonging to Mobil Oil in, in the accounts bearing Tinubu's name. So it is never done that money belonging to Mobil will be allowed to be deposited in Tinubu's private or personal accounts. Finally, Mobil confirmed that the corporation never had any accounts in banks in southern suburb of Chicago. Consequently, the U.S. consequently, as a result of these findings, the U.S. court ordered that the funds in the amount of $460,000 in the name of Bola Tinubu in the account number 263-226-700 held by First Heritage Bank represents proceeds of narcotic trafficking and was involved in financial transactions in violation of United States laws. The court also ordered that First Heritage Bank shall issue a check in the amount of $460,000 payable to the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago and be forfeited to the United States government. Now, this is what the court summary of the court paper. The money was forfeited to the United States government. Now, in that same Chicago, I want us to look at how and why an asset or property of anyone can be forfeited. Because there's this story going around that Bola Tinubu didn't do anything, and Festus Keyamo is claiming that the $460,000 that was paid was tax deducted from other 10 accounts based on the profit that Tinubu made from the investment on those banks, that he didn't pay tax. But the Drug Enforcement Administration in Chicago, in Illinois, in Chicago, their job is not to collect tax. Tax issue is left for the IRS in the United States. This is an agency like Nigerian Federal Land Revenue Service that's in charge of that. It is not for the Drug Enforcement Administration to go about collecting tax from bank deposits or from profits that an investor made in the banks. That's not his business. Now, the Drug Enforcement Administration in Chicago, because this is what I'm telling you about what happens in Chicago, where this crime allegedly happened. The Drug Enforcement Administration in Chicago uses forfeiture to attack the final structure of drug trafficking and money laundering groups worldwide, from the lowly courier carrying cash or drugs to the top levels of drug cartels. Forfeiture, particularly civil forfeiture, is very effective against drug crimes to against drug crimes, especially those if you commit drug crime, that is where they come after you and seek forfeiture from you. It has they don't come after you if you don't pay your tax. That's not their business. So that money that was forfeited, $460,000, means that the money was linked to drug trafficking and money laundering. It has nothing to do with profitability of investment that Tinubu made, but he didn't pay tax. So they now say he should pay tax for it. Now, when I went to the site of the Drug Enforcement Administration of Chicago, and I wanted to find out what is asset forfeiture, because they define it in Chicago. What is asset forfeiture? Now, forfeiture is the government taking of property because it was used or obtained in violation of the law. So you must violate the United States law before they can tell you to forfeit a property. Okay? Before they will tell you to forfeit a property, you must violate the law. They say assets subject to seizure include cars, cash, real estate, or anything of value used to commit a drug crime or bought with drug proceeds. So you can see this information I'm sharing with you is directly from the DEA office in the United States, the Drug Enforcement Administration in the United States, because they are the ones that present to the court the issue of forfeiture. So Festus Keyamo is not telling Nigerians the gospel truth, because this the Drug Enforcement Administration, they are not tax collectors. It's none of their business to go and check out of the 10 accounts that was linked allegedly with Tinubu and the drug cartel, whom Festus Keyamo claimed are those who are indicted were Nigerians, but Tinubu was not among them. But whatever may be the case, the money in possession of Tinubu was suspicious enough for the court and DEA to feel that it has to be forfeited to the United States government because it is a proceed of crime. It's a proceed of drug trafficking, proceed of money laundering. Now you ask yourself, why would Tinubu allow them to take such a huge amount of money if you earn it from other means? Why should he allow them to take it? It's not a small money. That $460,000 in 1993 is still a huge amount of money today, was forfeited to the United States government because United States government was convinced that it's a proceed of drug trafficking and money laundering. Now, what does this mean to Nigerians? We know that in this country, people take for granted everything Even this information, no matter how it is, many people will still be defending Tinubu. Many people are still going to vote for Tinubu because we're a country that has no standards. So when you have no standard, you can fall for anything. There is no standard of level of integrity that must be met, and level of corruption that will be unacceptable to many Nigerians, because many Nigerians celebrate and condone corruption. In fact, the word kleptocracy was coined out of the kind of corruption found in Nigeria by a Polish British sociologist. He said that Nigeria is a perfect example of kleptocracy, a system of governance which is based on bribery. And who has ahead in that system is he who can bribe better. We have seen it displayed during the primaries of the APC and the People's Democratic Party, where the delegates voted for the presidential aspirants that can bribe better than the rest. Because Nigeria is a perfect example of kleptocracy. But we can break away from this and show the world that we are not like that. We are not corruption tolerant like that. That there is a level of decency that you must attain to occupy the highest office in the land. That is why, if we are in a country, a decent country, these court documents, if you go through it and go through the report of David Hundiyin, you will not be looking at this issue as a question of technicalities of the law, whether Tinubu was convicted or not, whether he was indicted or not, but that he has a money that meets the requirement to be forfeited to the United States government is sufficient enough for his campaign to have ended. But we know that it will not end, because this is Nigeria, where the word kleptocracy was coined to describe a brand of corruption in which governance is based on who can bribe better. But we can make a change. We can decide that no, 2023 is going to be a change for a new Nigeria. It's going to be a time that we elevate our recruitment process to embrace integrity, to embrace capacity, to embrace honesty in leadership. And if that were to be the case, then as what Bola Tinubu's presidential ambition ought to have ended by this fresh release of these papers. But will it? That is the big question. Thank you for watching this video. And if you are new to my channel and you have not yet subscribed to my channel, subscribe to my channel, hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you.